awesome people, and welcome back to Wi-Fi Wednesday's shenanigans. I do apologise for no Wi-Fi Wednesday shenanigan last week, as we did get some pretty major sun and moon news, and by the time I finished doing all that podcast, I was extremely worn out, and unfortunately I didn't have enough energy to do a Wi-Fi Wednesday for that Wednesday. So to make up for that, I am bringing you this week an extremely interesting PU battle. Now, I did this one quite some time ago, and it's with a team I've been promising to do now for quite some time, and when I was looking back on my Wi-Fi Wednesday history, it turned out I never actually previewed this team. So there's going to be two things with this one. One, my commentary may be a little bit off because I don't remember anything from this battle. I mean, I'm looking at this team, and the only thing I can really remember is the thing that may look a little bit off on this screen. Yeah, I'm kind of missing a Pokemon. That's supposed to be a Marowak in that blank spot, so instead of being a 6v6, this was actually a 5v6, and I actually didn't notice until halfway through the battle. So that's a thing. So anyways, without any spoiling anything before the action begins, let's jump into nitty gritty. So this one was up against Richard, who is a good mate of mine, and he's going to lead with the Rotom Frost. So some fridge hype happening here, because you rarely see Rotom Frost at all unless you're playing PU. So I was expecting something like Choice Scarf or something with the Volt Switch straight off the bat. So I've got me Mr. Mime here, me Iron Ball Mr. Mime with Trick Room here. So I'm going to set up the Trick Room here. So this is another Trick Room team. Got the Confusion as well, because I am running the Technician set here. Doesn't hit as hard as what Psychic or Psy-Shock does, but I just did it because I was going for the Confusion hacks, and it is kind of cool seeing a Mr. Mime using Confusion. So, with that point, he went for a Blizzard. It did miss. I got another Confusion off. Goes for the Volt Switch there, and that was a critical hit. I'm like, that did a lot of damage, and yeah, that might matter a little bit. But anyways, they're going to go swap out into their Gigalith, called Open Sesame. Alright, so I got the Hidden Power here, and I do go first. It's the Hidden Power Fighting, because I am walled by Dark types, so the Hidden Power Fighting hits there, and of course the Gigalith, being the standard Gigalith, has got the Weakness Policy, so I'm like, please don't go for the Rock Polish, which it did, and went for the Iron Head just to take for the kill, and unfortunately that's my Mr. Mime down, so I'm like, thankfully I had Iron Ball there, because I definitely would have not been able to outspeed the Gigalith, because that thing is scary in Trick Room. So anyways, Maractus comes in, I'm going to Giga Drain that, and finish off the Gigalith there. So that was really cool. I don't think, it was kind of hard to tell, I think he said he had Hindering Nature and Speed for the Gigalith, or he just had normal speed, and I was just lucky to have been running Hindering 0 IVs in my Pokemon. So anyways, he comes into the Marowak here, which unfortunately, my Trick Room ran out, so Marowak's going to outspeed me, go for the Fire Blast, which definitely threw me off, because I'm like, that's not supposed to be what Marowak carries. So Maractus goes down, so that's a shame. It's not very often you see Maractus, so it was pretty fun to use a Maractus to kill something. So anyways, they're going to swap out there, probably go into their own Octillery, which I do remember they had. No, they go into Wailord, so it's like, I'm definitely not going to do very much there. So this is a Choice Specs Octillery made for Trick Room. That does a lot of damage considering it's resisting the Water Spouts. So I'm going to swap out there because I'm going to get outspared, plus I can't really do too much at all if I do get hit by a move. So instead the Wailord goes for Bounce, so the Wailord's going to start flying in the air, which is a unique sight indeed, and then comes back down and smacks me licky, and of course it paralyzes me. I'm like, well, the 75% speed drop isn't really much of a big deal for me. It kind of helps me if anything, but at the same time, knowing my luck, I'm going to get paralyzed. But my Body Slam, even without any attack EVs and my Licky is enough to take out the Wailord, which is really cool. So next up is the Pig Knight, the Beer Belly Pig, which is actually based off an Australian news story about a pig that got drunk. But anyways, I'm digressing here. I'm going to swap into my Dusclops, expecting like a fighting type move, otherwise why else would he swap into a Licky? So the Flame Charge here from the Pig Knight, trying to raise its speed, which is going to do very little to my Dusclops. I'm pretty sure I'm running max attack, max defense, because you don't really want to run max health and Dusclops with Pain Splits, given that you want to try and make the average for Pain Split as little as you can. So anyways, I'm going to go back into the Rotom Frost here. This is what I'm thinking. It might have been Scarf with Trick. So I'm going to swap my Dusclops out of there because I'm fearing a Shadow Ball as well, and just go straight back into my Licky in case they go for the Shadow Ball. And no, it goes Rest. I'm like, oh, bollocks. It's not the Trick Scarf. Rotom at all. Instead, it's probably going to be a bulky one instead. So there goes the Chesto Resto. So I'm like, yay, fun. So I'm paralyzed, of course. That's dreadful. And they're going to go for a Volt Switch here. So they pretty much got a free move off there. If anything, I probably would have gone for a Curse or something there, or maybe a Hammer Arm. Probably a Hammer Arm, actually. That would have done quite a lot of damage to Rotom Frost. And they go back into the Marowak. I'm like, that's cool. I got max health, max special defense. So I should be able to tank moves pretty easy from this thing. Plus, I have Rest here too, so that's why I wasn't really too threatened by the paralysis at all. Plus, I do have my own Chesto on my Licky as well. So it is a Chesto Resto, max health, max special defense, Licky. However, this Focus Blast kind of doesn't make it look like that because the Marowak is definitely Choice Specs. But even still, that did a lot of damage to a max health, max special defense Licky, and my Body Slam barely does anything. No para hacks as well. So unfortunately, I can't take another Focus Blast. That was a 2-hit KO against my special defense wall, so that was kind of scary. And my Trick Room dies as well, so I was like, oh no, everything is just falling apart here. Given that I've only got 5 Pokemon too, I think it was around this time that I finally realised I didn't have my 6th Pokemon with me, which was my Marowak, which, as I said, did make quite a big difference on this battle because I don't think the score would have been as close as it was in the end. But anyways, the Rotom Frost comes in, I set up the Trick Room, and I go for the Power Up Punch here to try and raise my attack. It doesn't look like this Rotom Frost has any Ghost moves on it. It does have Will-O-Wisp though, so it can kind of ruin my Dusclops, unfortunately. Even at +6 with a burn, it's still not going to hit very hard. So unfortunately, that, as I said, that kind of ruined my Dusclops. So another Power Up Punch there to raise my attack to +2 because I know a Shadow Sneak is not going to do very much to the Rotom. Blizzard does miss, which is good because I probably would have gone down that turn. Another Power Up Punch here. As I said, I'm pretty sure Shadow Sneak would have done very little there as well. Given it was Stab, it probably would have done the same as Power Up Punch probably. So anyways, the Rotom Frost is going to Volt Switch out of there. I'm definitely going very low health there. I can't remember if I went for the Pain Split or not here. But anyways, I go back into the Pignite. I get burnt again with some residual damage, back down to very low health. But I go for the Sucker Punch with fails, and I go for the Trick Room. So I'm trying to my very best here to try and set up the remainder of my team. But since I am at the huge disadvantage of only 1 less Pokemon. So I go for the Sucker Punch there, fails again. I go for another Trick Room, just trying to play mind games here. I cancel this Trick Room out because I'm like, I'm gonna die here. Or I didn't pay attention last turn, one of the two. I know by this stage I was like multitasking going, I don't know what I'm doing. So I cancelled out my Trick Room, which was bad. And the Auxiliary comes in for a Flame Charge, so that shouldn't drop my Water Spout too much, so a little bit of health. I won't be hitting max base power with the Water Spout. So speed goes up there for the Pignite, that swaps out and goes back into the Rotom Frost, which is on half health. Water Spout should take this out. Boom, and there goes the Rotom Frost, which was actually the biggest threat on this team. If I had Marowak with me, that wouldn't have been so much of a problem since it did have Iron Head on it. So this thing comes in, and I outspeed with no Trick Room up, I'm pretty sure. So that's dead. So bye-bye, Mr. Mime. And I think he's only got 1 Pokemon left, which is... No, he's got 2 Pokemon left. So he's got Marowak and he's got Pignite left. So Marowak gets outspeed too. I think Trick Room may be up. I can't actually remember now. So much for paying attention. But anyways, Marowak goes down to a critical hit there. I don't think it mattered because it was Choice Specs. No, the Trick Room was up. Well, that makes sense now. Alright, so Pignite is his last Pokemon to come out. It's got Power Up Punch and I think it's got Flame Charge as well. And Sucker Punch. Can't remember what its last move is. I actually don't think I saw it. And at the same time, I don't think it's going to have a Water Spout as well, even with the Everlight on it. And with that, that is game. GG, very interesting indeed. Like, as I said, halfway through that battle, it looked like it was starting to fall apart there with my not bringing 1 Pokemon, which, as I said, really did make a difference because I think my Marowak had Rockhead with Bone Club or Boomerang, one of the two. I can't remember which one it was. It had Iron Head, Double Edge, and Fire Punch on it. So that would have actually hurt a few of his Pokemon if the Trick Room was up. But yeah, that Marowak was definitely scarier on Richard's side of the field. Choice Specs. 2-shotting my special wall is definitely impressive, given that Licky special defense is quite on the high end as well. So anyways, guys, that is it for tonight's video. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Wi-Fi Wednesday. And next week, we'll probably be back to battle spot videos because I haven't actually had any luck with any single battles, nor have I actually done any single battles. Actually, I've done probably a few, and then I've gone back to double battles. I have no idea why, but I'm going through a double battle phase, and I'm really liking it. So don't be too surprised if the next couple of Wi-Fi Wednesdays are 4v4 instead of the 6v6 format. Hope you guys don't mind, but I will try for some 6v6 in the meantime, see if I can get any interesting ones. So anyways, this is Lady KrimZen saying ciao for now, but not forever.